She's too young to remember dial-up, but too old for TikTok, or too old for TikTok dances. Their comedy blends millennial existential dread and Gen Z's chaotic optimism. When not on stage, you can find Jayde petting her dogs or overanalyzing texts. Everyone, please welcome Jayde House.
Excited to be here tonight. So I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, aka Satan's butthole, or at least hotter than. And after college, I moved to New York City. It was always my dream to move to New York City. And so when I moved there, though, people would find out that I was from Arizona, and they were like, well, why didn't you just move to LA? And I'm like, one, they're not the same. And two, I'll tell you why. Because in college, I took this class called Geologic Disasters. and in this class, they basically teach you about every possible thing that could go wrong in this world from a natural disaster. So that's hurricanes, tsunamis, mudslides, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes. So in the class, we learned that, California is due for the big one, come falling off the fault, get that next big earthquake. So I was like, I'm gonna stay away from there. But unfortunately, my partner wanted to move to Southern California, so I was like, YOLO, you only live once, so let's do it. And I can say, in the 3 years that I have lived here, I have not once experienced an earthquake. Yeah. I mean, supposedly I have been in them, right? But I've never felt one personally. So I'm starting to think, are these even real? So like, have you ever been in an earthquake before?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. That's what they want you to think, right? But how do you know? How do you know for sure? Because I'll be sitting outside at a restaurant and I'll be sitting there and I'll feel this like rumbling and shaking. And I'm like, oh my God, it's finally happening. It's happening. And then nope, it's just a giant truck driving by. So I'm starting to think these might not be real. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know. And so, I'm starting to think, well, maybe, Nevada and Arizona, maybe they want us to fall off, right? Maybe they want that beachfront property. I'm thinking they're on the borders and they're jackhammering away. They're like, almost got them. But no, it's speaking of conspiracy theories. Can you believe COVID happened like 5 years ago almost? Yeah. Crazy. Those kids that were born during COVID, those COVID babies, they're in college now. Crazy, those vaccines, crazy. People were doing the craziest stuff during COVID. You remember that? Like, some people were baking their bread, getting into their baking era. No, not me. I found a baby pigeon and I raised it until it could fly off on its own. But that's not even the craziest thing I did, honestly. It's not. I wish it was. The craziest thing that I probably did during COVID, I accidentally joined this far-right conspiracy theory Facebook page. And I feel like that. I honestly don't know. It always starts with somebody from high school, though. We're crazy times. I'm watching a lot of reality TV, so we're running out of things to do. And it started with the Army Hammer stuff, if you are familiar with that, where he was supposedly eating people, like cannibalism. And I was intrigued, right? And that started light. And then I joined this Facebook group and found out it not only was a far-right conspiracy Facebook page, it was a QAnon Facebook page. So you're probably wondering, if you're not familiar with Q, he is, essentially, I'm going to give him a pronoun, he. He is probably somebody who lives in his parents' basement, but supposedly he knows all of the government's secrets, and he is out to take the government down, right? And the savior for the QAnon supporters is King Trump. So that's, and if you're curious what types of people were in this group, think your weird uncle who forwards you those weird emails, you know the one. And the stay-at-home Facebook moms, that they were all over that page. And we have the basement dwelling Redditors. So good group. And so once I realized what this page was, I'm like, I'm not gonna participate, but I'm gonna read, right? It's entertaining. And so when you're reading this stuff, you're like, wow, this is, you start to kind of believe some of it at some point, because people are convincing. They're convincing. So some of the things that they believe, if you're not familiar, they think that 5G towers and vaccines are mind control devices. It could be. I don't know. It could. Like, God, what do I know? And adrenochrome, if you've ever heard of that, it's basically where they take little children's blood and then they put it into their skin to look younger, and all of the Hollywood celebrity elites are doing it, guys. All of them. Think Keanu Reeves. Like, why hasn't he aged in like 40 years? You know, like maybe he's onto something. I don't know. But the kicker and some of the stuff, I'm like, yeah, this could be real, right? Was like the Wayfair. Did you guys hear about this? The Wayfair, where they the online furniture site, they were selling, $30,000 cabinets online, and they got in trouble because supposedly they were trafficking children in these cabinets. And I'm like, I could believe that, right? Because who is buying $30,000 cabinets from an online? You probably have to put them together yourself. And so I'm like, believable, honestly, believable. So yeah, you're on here and you're like, oh, I believe it. Like, wow, it's getting a little crazy. You're starting to get a little crazy yourself. I was getting a little manic almost. But the kicker was on January 6th when I realized these were the people who were storming the Capitol. Yeah, they were posting maps in DC work. No, mine don't work. That's a conspiracy. So I'm like, holy crap, I gotta get out of here. The government has my name on a list, and I cannot be associated with this. Was for fun. So I'm out of here. I left on that note. I have checked since. It's not there anymore, guys. But I'm really not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I would consider myself, though, a conspiracy advocate. So, if you're wondering what the difference is, conspiracy theorists, they've got their theories and they're sticking to it and whatever. And I advocate for you. If you believe in that, you believe that, girl. Like, I do not care, because you could be right. What do I know? There's so many things out there that are crazy. So yeah, I will advocate for you. And I believe you if that's what you believe. So it's crazy though, the things that have happened since then. I can't even believe some of it, honestly. People seem to be addicted to anything these days. And they're addicted to gambling. People are gambling on essentially anything. If you've heard of this site called Play Market, if you're interested, they've got some pretty crazy stuff on there. They are gambling on if Luigi Mangione will get released from prison or not. Not looking good for my guy. But they are gambling also on if Elon Musk is an alien. mouths are looking good, guys. I might want some money. The wild one to me though is they're gambling on if the flights will land. Oh. Yeah, and I know, can't even make this up because literally Delta Airlines was a partner with Polymarket on this one. And wild because planes have not been landing lately. I don't know. Somebody must have been losing some money, and because I also read that before all the planes started not landing. So conspiracy? I don't know, but wild. And so being my age and starting out in the dawn of social media and late middle school, early high school, your parents always told you, be careful what you post on the internet, it could come back to haunt you. But what they didn't warn us about was, 10 to 15 years later, there might be this thing called cancel culture. And if you've been living under a rock, it's basically where the internet will look into your past from 10 to 15 years ago and pull up something that you said and use it against you or whatever to try to cancel you. It's kind of like in Alice in Wonderland with the Queen of Hearts, and she's like, off with their heads! That's what the people on social media are doing, right? They're going burn them! So all it's really taught me, though, is that people miss public executions. I think we should bring it back. It solved a lot of our problems. But it's also wild. I wish I could make this up, guys, but world leaders are tweeting at each other. Yeah. What? Is that how we're doing politics these days? Justin Trudeau tweeted at Trump and was like, don't you dare take Canada or I'll slap you with my flapjack, don't you know? And Elon Musk actually challenged Putin to a fight. Yeah. Honestly, I would pay money to see that. I would. And I'm thinking, that could solve a lot of our problems. Why are we sending all these people out to war for these other countries? Put them in. They've got the problem. Put them in the ring. Let them go at it. These men, they miss the Roman Empire so much. Throw them in the Colosseum. I don't care. Throw the lions in. I don't care. That would be entertaining. Get the Mr. Beast in there. Put a TV show in there. Money. I'm saying, make some money. But yeah. I'm thinking if Elon really wanted to fight Putin, he could maybe take him in his spaceship, go off to Mars, maybe take Trump with him, just live happily ever after. Thank you guys.
Yeah.